Welcome back. Part 4 to why I married his ass in the first place. But the story is taking quite a transition because for those of you that have taken the time to listen since I began, no longer am I caught up in the trap of this drama, but I have made the decision to move forward and to move on. The one place so many of us, when we were stuck, or if you're stuck, in that area where we just can't seem to get to. And why? Because we have to think about, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? How am I going to be able to afford it? What about my kids? And I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And will this be the right decision? And am I being patient enough? And we can just think of all of the reasons why we can't. And I hope that this phase of the story tells you all the reasons why you can. See, I was mad, right? Because I did not have support from all of the places that I just knew that it was supposed to come from. But there's something special, you guys, about this angel who came to get me that night. I picked up the phone and said, girl, this is that night. The friend that would come and respond to that call at the midnight hour, I will always and eternally be grateful to Nakia Bennett. She was my girl. She was my ace, a fellow cosmetologist, a bombshell of a woman, also had her own child, and she came to my rescue to get me and my babies. But I got to put a little bit of a twist up in here, you guys, because, see, I need us to understand that when we're in a state where we shouldn't be, and when we're in pain, and when we're hurting, and nobody's coming to pull us out of the fire that we actually just refuse to walk on out of anyway, when we need that help, a lot of times we can't recognize it because somewhere we as women have forgotten how to love each other. We as women have forgotten how to see each other in our soul and in our spirit. Instead, we're too busy looking at all of the superficial things, and we can't see when help is right in front of our faces. And I'm not talking about that hating crap about whose booty's big and whose titties is wider and whose hair is all right. I'm not talking about that type of stuff. See, in the middle of all this story, see, it's not just about the marriage that I had to the man. I also had to get past the marriage that I had to religion. Because the sister that would come running to my aid was a Jehovah's Witness. Now go look at that. I had to pause really quick just for 2 seconds to let that soak in. Because here's the thing. Sometimes we can't get where we need to go, especially if we're looking for and praying to God, because we will get even more offended and more wrapped up in our pain because we'll be sitting there saying, but the church. And we're sitting here saying what God looks like, what he sounds like, what he acts like, and what in the world he's supposed to be like, and who he works through and who he won't use and where help will and won't come from. And then we completely miss out on our blessings. But Miss Nakia Bennett, with all of her Jehovah Witness Kingdom Hall going to self, was the one without blinking an eye who had just finished working all night in the salon way after midnight said, girl, I'm here. I think she was there before I even could hang up the cell phone. Do you hear me? But she came and got me. Now, see, you got to understand something. See, when I first started telling this story, I told you all that even though that man could have almost became the death of me, I was jacked up before him. See, this story is bigger than just him. Really, the story ain't even about him. The story is about me. The story is about my path to restoration and falling in love with August and understanding who I am and being who I'm destined to be and understanding how God constructed me and the path that I'm supposed to take. He was just a detour. He was just a wrong path. He was just a story, an episode in my life that I didn't have to take, but happened to bless me to make me into the woman that I was anyway. And even though I was a little rough and ragged when I got there, I really was serious about my walk with God. And I really was trying to be somebody. And I really was taking it serious. But I just kept going through these ups and downs. And one minute I'm loving God. And one minute I'm cussing him out. And like I told you in the last segment, but God still showed me that he could use anybody to literally give me a word, a verbal word. And he could use anybody to also come and rescue me. And my girlfriend would come and get me, and I took KK. At that time, she was 10, and Jaden was only 6 weeks old. And at that time, KK's daddy, yeah, my baby daddy, kind of had a little bit of act right, and it just so happened that he wanted to get Kamaria for the summer, and it was June 22nd. So he came and got her, and she was gone to Atlanta, and it was just me and my baby Jaden sleeping on my girlfriend's in her living room on her love seat. That's where we slept. And I remember asking her to give me 30 days. I said, I'm gonna get out of here. I don't want to overburden you, but I'm gonna find somewhere to live. And I'm gonna work this thing out. I'm gonna do whatever it is I got to do in order to get myself back up on my feet. I hadn't regained all my clientele. I had already lost clientele from dealing with all of the drama. And then in addition to that, I had just had a baby and I was barely 6 weeks past. But oh God, my clients that did stick around, that's why they became my family. Because they went where I went and they followed me where I was and they held on and they supported me all the way through. And here's the thing, what I spoke into existence, it literally happened. I ended up finding a house in the hood and was able to purchase it and was able to start on my own. But see, here's the other beauty. See, I'm going to tell you these little microscopic things that happened along the way because some of you are overburdened down by all of what you have to do. But sometimes you got to fall back and trust God and believe that he's going to give you everything you need. And you don't always get to see it first. And I remember when I finally went to the house and it was on sale and the young woman that was rehabbing it, I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I really do need to move in a hurry. And to make a long story short, they were like, well, do you want to do a possession prior to purchase? All you need to do is give us $500. I didn't have $500. And I remember mentioning to a friend, I said, hey, and it was Janine McCaleb again. I said, would you mind if I borrowed $500? Because when she came and got her hair done, you know, she was spending about $200. When she got her daughter's hair done, she was spending about $100. I just had to do their hair twice, and I would have more than enough money to pay them back. And I promised her I'd give her money back, and she said, no problem, August. And I was like, whoa, is it that simple? But remember, I didn't have anything. I literally had nothing. But she gave me that money. I went and signed on that paper, and I will never, ever forget the day I moved into that house. For 31 days, I cried because every single day, somebody brought me something that I needed. The first day that I was in there, all of the people that were in the organization that I was with through Quick Start, they came with groceries galore. And let me tell you something, I'm humble and I'm not picky. I don't care if they went to Aldi, Food for Less, Shop and Save, or whatever the bargain shopping places are that you know by name. But when I tell you that these people came and gave to me, they gave to me graciously. And my father showed me that I'm going to give to you good. They didn't give me Aldi brand string beans. They bought me Jolly Green Giant. They didn't buy me off-brand rice. They bought Uncle Ben. They didn't buy me off-brand canned fruit or in a package. They went and bought me fresh fruit, strawberries, peach. I mean, y'all, I love vegetables. I love good food. I love fruit. I didn't ask these people for anything. But when they came, they gave me their best. When I moved in the very night, I went into the bed that night with a couple of sheets on the windows. I had windows all around my house, but I didn't have money to put blinds up. But the next day, my mother and her boyfriend came and he bought blinds for every single window, and he wouldn't rest until he put all of them up. One of my clients needed to get her hair done. Her car was down. I still had my car. I went and picked her up. She said, go stop at the gas station. I stop at the gas station thinking that she wants some. She said, go to the pump, idiot. I'm like, okay. She's like, well, get you some gas. And I'm like, well, how much? She said, you don't stop pumping gas until the tank is full. And every single day, blessing after blessing. See, y'all got to remember, I literally didn't have anything when I started over. I got dressers, beds, forks, spoons, knives, sheets, towels, toilet tissue, toothbrush, paper, because when I left, I was so angry, I didn't even grab the personals. I grabbed the immediate clothes and stuff that was in my pack. When I tell you over these 31 days, everything I needed, I got it. Dining room table, rug to go up under it. And God even dealt with something with my ex-husband's spirit, because he went ahead and at least gave me my futon and then gave me the old refrigerator that my mother had gave to me so that I could have it. I even had a client give me a salon chair. My first salon chair actually was received after I decided to leave this man, and I was able to deck out my basement so that I could give my clients the type of creme de la creme treatment that I was giving them in the first place. I was so restored that within 30 days, people would come into my house, and they would, if they didn't know my story, they would have thought that I had been there all along. But here is where it gets a little tricky, you guys. I was still jacked up. And as I'm going and I'm, progressing, now you're going to see where this point comes back full circle. I got a little bit haughty. I didn't mean to be. But I was all, look at my God. Look at what my God did for me. And I'm thinking that all of these blessings and all of this stuff that I got, that's when I was supposed to bait and switch it. That's not what my mind said, but that's what I did. I'm supposed to bait and switch it because my Jehovah Witness friend, this was her testimony for her. So now she can know that Jesus is real. Oh, baby. Needless to say, because she was going to be my project so that I could get her into heaven, we lost communication. See, the very person that helped me to escape was the very person that I ended up condemning. Because the spirit of anxiety, anger, judgment, all of that stuff was still there. So if some of y'all ain't figured out yet why I say I don't judge what people do and how they communicate with God, I don't judge what people do and how they communicate with God. Because see, sister, we missing the point with each other. We just need to love on each other regardless. Don't nobody come to God unless God call them. So get up out the way and let him do what he do and let the relationship be the way that it's going to be. But that sister blessed me. And from that point forward, I made up my mind that I needed to get fixed just a little bit more. I never got back in contact with her, but I'm like, you know what? Calm down, August. Calm down. And see, and that's the thing I don't think that a lot of us understand is that one way or another, when you suffered pain and defeat and emotional stress and trauma and abuse, if you couldn't take it back fully on the person that gave it to you and or find a place to get into a spirit of forgiveness, you will continue in one way or another to lash out on somebody else. And unfortunately, sisters, the ones that we have a tendency to lash out on are one another. Instead of us having camaraderie, we looking and we judging. Just think about it. But I don't want to stay there. The point is I need you to understand that if you make your mind up, and if you open up your heart and you allow the opportunity to come to you, help is on the way. Help will be there. You can't get upset and trip off of who isn't there to help you, because you're going to miss out on the blessing on the individual that God is going to put in your path to be there to bless you. The other big thing that I learned that made it easier for me to say, okay, I'll take God even more serious than I did before, was because I had to truly, truly get it wrapped up in my mind that no matter what mistakes I made, that he still loved me. For some reason, whether you like the way that I'm saying this or not, everybody that's in church and you want everybody to go to church and you want everybody to know Jesus, part of the reason why they can't go there is because they constantly feel condemned. Every time you turn around, you got to tell them every sin they doing wrong. And every time they tell you what's wrong, you got to remind them that, well, maybe did you pray enough? Did you fast enough? When the last time you been to church? Who do you hang with? Do they cuss? Do they not do this? And we not doing that. So we alienating people and we pushing them away. And that's part of the reason why we stay up in jacked up situations, because before we can realize that we're worthy and we shouldn't be in the mess, we micromanaging every mistake we made. He hit me and I said, fuck. Well, so what? I guess you would cuss if somebody hit you. But instead of you saying, no, he hit me, you saying, no, I cussed. Oh, Lord, see, I need to pray for a route of escape, but God ain't going to get me out of here because my mouth is jacked up. My attitude is jacked up. And sister, it don't even work like that. See, part of what gave me freedom was my mindset had to be reconstructed. And I had to realize that I wasn't even going to call him God no more. You know, I did it in general. I did it in regular conversations for the simple fact that that's what other people understand. But see, but when I talk about him, as far as I'm concerned, I call him Father. Because see, God gives the illusion that this is somebody that's in the sky, that's a master that's pointing in and telling you what you should do. But Father says that it is someone that I should still reverence, but I'm a part of the family, and that I'm made in his image and his likeness, and I got the same blood running in my veins that he has in his. So I start feeling a little worthy, and I start walking a little different, and I start treating people different, because I understand that Daddy gonna love me and let me sit on his lap and take care of me even when I make mistakes. So in all of the torture and all of the drama, by this point, you should understand that the part of the road to recovery and restoration, I don't care if you call him God, the Father, the source, whatever, but you need to understand, sister, that you are loved. You need to understand that you are a precious jewel, a gem, his princess, his doll, and that he wants nothing but the best for you. Because see, the last time I checked, my Bible said no good and perfect gift would he withhold from you. Only good and perfect gifts come from him. Now, I might be paraphrasing, but trust me, that's what the scriptures say. So in all of the things that I've been saying, if you've been able to identify yourself somewhere in that story, and you might not have to have the physical, but maybe you have the emotional abuse and you tired, you have to sit here and say to yourself, what can I do so that I can get my mind back on the road to recovery? Now, see, while I'm talking all this stuff about loving God and being excited and everything being all good, this is one of the reasons why this revelation is so important. You know, you could make a decision to leave, right? And then you could turn around and make a decision to go back. I don't know why we do that. Why do we go back? After God had shown us that he would give us a route of escape, it's kind of like Sarah, and then why are you looking back? But the other thing is with the confusion. You know, you bring God, and I was like, okay, I've been praying and I've been seeking God, and, you know, and I've been making sure that I'm intentional about reading the word, about what it says about forgiveness. And I got to make sure that my heart is pure. And I still thought, just one more time, August, maybe you need to relax. And now that you're in your place and he's in his, God can work on bridging the gap with this thing. Yes, sister, I understand. See, that's why I don't judge when women go back to dysfunctional relationships, because, see, you have to understand there's still some level of a pull. See, anytime you invest in something, you want to see a return. It ain't no different than gambling, y'all. When you put the money on the table, you want to make it back. And if you lose, you might want to put a little bit more on order to make it back. And some of us got a better ability to get away from the table. But I went back. I stayed in my place, but I opened up the door for him to return. And it wouldn't even take a couple of days before one day my phone would ring. See, I kept the same landline number because I'm a professional. I took the number with me to my residence, and I kept my cell phone number because I want my clients to get me. And then all of a sudden the phone rings. And I don't even remember the heifer's name. But they basically said, can I speak to Sarah? Yeah, this is what was it, Emo's Pizza? I'm sorry, there's no Sarah here. We want to know if she's gonna come. You sure? We want to know if she's gonna come in for work today. Click. Ooh, baby. You got to be kidding me. Brain firing a mile a minute. I'm like, no, this nigga ain't. Now, I knew he had cheated on me, did things, but it's something about when you know they cheating and you know who they cheating with. So the heifer that's at the job, yeah, this nigga, you delivering pizzas. You finally got a job and you're delivering pizzas and you sleeping with another broke heifer that's delivering pizzas with you. Matter of fact, she ain't even delivering pizzas. She working in the kitchen. And because I had opened myself up to him, what did I do? I went on around to his crib. Yeah, not this. No, baby. I'm smooth with mine. And he came to the door. I said, hey, James, can we talk for a second? And that idiot opened up the door. But he wasn't an idiot. See, I was. See, you got to understand. Knowing what he knew, he never should have opened up that door, but baby, he did. And as soon as he did, boom, I pushed through the door and I ran to the bedroom, and before my fist could hit her face, that's when he grabbed me. I knew that they were calling my house because they knew that him and that heifer had went home together. And even though we weren't supposed to be together, it was just a point that you disrespected me because I'm still your damn wife, and until the paperwork is filed, how dare you do that? When does the embarrassment stop? And when he pulled me off of her, I'm like, oh, so you gonna be willing to fight me for this trash? This is where we go. This is what we do, y'all. When I tell you that I had on a regular tank top and some biking pants, and I had slipped on my little jogging pants and a little t-shirt, to make a long story short, me and him went from in the house to out the house, down the porch and in the grass, and the shirt was off and the pants. I was in the streets down to my tank top and my biker shorts, banging with this nigga. And the only thing that stopped me was that my brother that's right up under me happened to pull up, scream my name, and say, August, please stop. And I looked up, and out of nowhere, the entire neighborhood is watching. So y'all already know I would have been on World Star Hip Hop if the internet was then what it is today. I reduced myself. I embarrassed myself. I allowed myself to go back down, and I was so heated. Oh, Lord, I was heated. And I can't tell his business, but my brother wasn't all the way right. And the last thing he needed was some police. And he was just like, August, come on, please stop. And I went back around the corner. How in the world do I get out of the mess from dealing with this nigga to getting blessed with all of these blessings to the point that God fully restored me materially, and I believed spiritually, to looking like some hoodlum banging on the street? Because I wasn't 100% healed, and because I'm still human. Oh, my God. But at that point, it became clearer than clear to completely let go. In October, I finally filed the papers, and I remember threatening him and telling him, you're going to give me half of the money that I need to file these papers. Because the only thing that was holding me back from filing the papers, whether I tried or not, y'all got to remember, people may have given me things and restored me, but I still needed money. Shoot, at the end of the day, when I went and moved to that house, I had to go back and reapply for welfare and food stamps, something I lived back when I was 19 years old. And some of y'all might not want to go through that, but you know what? If getting away and getting safe and getting your children in safety, I I would rather take assistance from the government and take a big old pill of humility than allow my daughter to think that that was even some of what she was supposed to take from a man. And I remember looking at him, y'all, I still was a hot mess. I still had just a little bit more gangster to get out of me. And I remember looking at him and I remember saying, you know what? In order for me to file for this divorce on my own, it costs $200. Nigga, you need to at least give me half of the money, because I swear to God, if you don't, you think you gonna disrespect me and get away with it? I said, if I see your car rolling down the street and it's a bitch in the passenger side, I got a bat and I'm gonna get out and I'm whooping your ass and I'm whooping her ass, and you better hope it's not your mama or your grandmama, because I ain't looking at trying to identify nobody. Everybody up in here is getting messed up. See, I'm letting you know, you might not be as crazy as I was back then, but you out of character. That's not who you are. And I had to deal with that. And I had to go back and rewind. I had to get back in that place, and I had to say, okay, God, no, Father, forgive me, love on me. And I had to reset. Okay. And restart my journey and make sure that I kept myself on a road to recovery. And he would work and he would work and he would work to antagonize me even after the papers were filed, all the time. Whether it was with visiting Jaden, giving money for Jaden, not taking accountability for Jaden, every single other day or every other week, it would be something. But finally, somewhere in all of the chaos, everything broke up. Now I'm going to fast forward a little bit through this story. Y'all done seen some ugly language, or rather heard. Y'all done seen a little bit of ugly emotion. But for those of you that have been following me for months, have you seen the passion in which I speak about what you're capable of? So have you seen the passion in what I speak about of how blessed you are, how worthy you are, the goals you can achieve, the things that you can set? See, some of you all have been so damaged that what you don't realize is that you don't need to do a complete change. You don't need to do a complete metamorphosis. You just need to redirect the energy. I'm trying to get you to understand, sister, that most of us go through an identity crisis, period. Because you got to remember, you beat yourself up. You questioned who you were. You kept on saying what you were doing wrong that was out of alignment with God, what you did wrong to people, how you treated people, and you thought that you weren't good enough. See, God didn't say, August, you're jacked up and your mouth is foul. You cuss out everybody. You think you're supposed to whoop everybody's ass, so I'm going to take your voice from you. He said, no, I'm going to convert that thing, and I'm going to take that same power and that same energy that the devil would like to use for darkness, and you're going to shed so much light on people, so much positive energy, so much motivation. You are going to articulate a completely different message. Whatever it is that's in you that's damaged, it's not because it has to go. It just needs to be repaired and restored. It is your gift. And that gift that the enemy thought that he was going to take away and pervert from you, God is saying, I need to take the energy and reverse it and use it in the right manner. I need to use it in the right glory. That's all it was about. I'm not saying that we have to go through the struggles that we go through, because some of them are bad decisions. But regardless of whether it was a bad decision or it was a part of your life, the question is, how do you learn from it? And the only thing that some of us are missing is understanding the proper interpretation of his word, the proper interpretation and perception of circumstances, the proper love, and somebody identifying the gifts and talents that you have and actually looking at you and telling you that you can, telling you that it is possible, telling you that there are gifts inside of you that need to come out and that you can bless the world with them. See, my ex-husband cussed and cursed my mouth all the time. And if I would have let him win for telling me I always had too much to say and I couldn't control my mouth, I wouldn't be here today. So when you get saved, and if that's your thing and you believe in Jesus and he say that he's going to make you a new creature, he means he's going to spiritually metamorphose you. He means he needs you to tap into the source so that you can get joy. Not that you weren't good enough and what you bring to the table isn't good enough. He just wants to use it for a better reason. So on this journey, yes, I got free. Yes, he restored me. Yes, I slipped majorly, but I remembered who my father was and I just got back in. I need y'all to stay in. I need y'all to stay encouraged. I need you to restructure your support system. I need you to get involved in real programs that's going to promote a transformation in your mind so that you can stop suffering from an identity crisis, so that you can begin to go to the next level. And here's the thing. If you think that I finally got there because of that, you're still wrong. I was getting better day by day, but that little phrase, work in progress, it is so real. Now, some of y'all abuse that statement because you call yourself a work in progress, but you still progressing past the same work. I'm going to need y'all to stop playing. I'm going to need you to actually progress and quit saying that you're in progress, but that's a whole nother other story. But I finally got past the glitches with him, but I still had glitches with my family. And what you're going to learn in the next segment is that I ended up taking about a 4 to 5 year hiatus from my entire family. So far to the degree that when I married my current husband that I'm with now, and we've been together for 10 years, when I tell you not a single relative of mine was there, my mother, my grandmother, father, aunts, cousins, brothers, sisters, no one. I was saved. I love God. People in church love me. I was speaking with power and with motivation, but I still had some anger management issues. Not the kind that would come out by me cussing and fussing, but the kind that said, I don't even want to deal with them anymore. And I'm going to tell you something. There are seasons where you may need to separate because you may need to heal and you may need to focus, but that still is a stronger indicator of where you are, not where your family is. So yeah, this story might have started talking about an unfortunate Negro who sent me through hell and made me recognize how volatile I was, but it still was only the beginning of me metamorphosing into the woman that I was supposed to be. So wait until tomorrow, where we will have a conversation and we will see what I ended up learning about me and my family and where I still needed to grow in order to truly become a light and to begin to minister to other people. Sister, I want you to come back tomorrow, and you know why? Because I want you to understand you have access to get completely healed. Thanks for tuning in.